So these are the pieces needed to build the stern of the ship, or the skeleton of the ship. Some of them very small, delicate, and they're sort of a balancing act while they're glued, because while some of the pieces are held in place by the berth, some just rest on the berth or rest on other pieces while they're gluing. It's strongly recommended that you test fit all of the pieces as much as you can before assembling and gluing it in place. I'll show you how they all go together. It'll be a video that's cut and chopped and joined together, but we're hoping it'll be an enjoyable process. Unfortunately, I had a mishap on the system where the ladder which holds these frames at the rear was placed incorrectly, and I had it too steep at the stern post and had to remove it, clean everything up, readjust some damage that was done and reapply it, and that's now glued, and I have measured it and it's now correct, but that wasn't a lot of fun. So do a lot of preparation. It's a bit hard to check that that's in the correct position because you use a template and you think it's right. I thought it was right and it was wrong. Anyway, we won't show you all those mistakes, just be warned that it is easy to make silly mistakes. And with this many pieces, it's going to be an interesting build challenge. Thank you. The process recommended by the book is to create ribs 71 and install those first. Here. Like so. As you can see, it's a lot of fun putting together. Doing this stuff. And after doing that, install the rest of the parts all behind it all, which makes it difficult because these guys are in the way. These can be installed last, so I've not going to put those in, and the ones in front of them, until I complete the next scheme, and I'll show you the order I do it in because it actually sort of locks everything in place. So the first thing you'll need is parts 38 and 40. These are real small bits. As you can see, I drop them into the thing easy. Now this end here, you probably can't see it, have notches, and they fit into these slots in this. So you'll need to sand those out appropriately so these guys fit in them, because they don't by default. And I don't know whether it's the cut from the initial thing, but some of these things need to be straightened out, otherwise they don't fit properly in the unit in there. Alright, so first things first, we'll glue the 4 small pieces in here. Parts 38 to the outside, parts 40 in the middle. The reason being is they're slightly longer. When you add the back piece, you'll find they'll all fit in. So we'll glue those in place. We can get this. We'll glue these in place. And glue on the end there. And these simply fit in here. And these pieces, simply glue those, and they fit in here, and we lock them in place to hold them down while they dry, and those little holders. So 38, then a 40, and another 40, and finally a part 38 again. We'll remove that excessive glue and we'll let those set, and then we'll do the next part. So next we add this cross piece, which goes here. And lines up with these guys, which have got to be glued in. Do not glue it into the holders. It's going to have to come out later on. Make sure when you do put it in correctly, you've got it lined up correctly. Now I had to do quite a bit of adjusting in there to get it to fit. So it's not as simple as just pushing it on so it lines up in there and going, it works. Well, yeah, it is. That's how you do it. It's really simple. Alright, so I'll glue it into place, and then we'll add the back section on. Next, we'll add this portion here, which gets sanded quite severely with multiple angles. It fits across there. So we'll glue this guy on where it needs to be glued. Any excess. And the next piece, now it slides under here, and if you've sanded this correctly, it just curves and fits into place on these 4 pieces. Oops. That's it, curves and fits in. There she is. Should leave that to dry. When that's dry, we'll add the next piece. Now this is all solidly in place. We can add parts 37, which on the edges here, which originally were this second piece recommended to be installed in the manual, which meant that all this stuff wasn't supporting it. Now all this is in. It's very easy to wedge this in and put it in place. Just make sure you get them on the right angle, sand them appropriately as required. And we will, if we can find them, use the tweezers, put them in place. Again, it's a tricky place to put in, but a lot easier to put in place now that the other stuff is in. Not ultra easy, I've said, just a lot easier. So glue to this portion. That one put in place. And we've got the one on the other side to do. And we drop it in again. There'll be lots of cursing and swearing while you're putting these bits together. And there she is. That piece complete. And we'll let that set, and we'll add the next lot of sections once that's dried.